how do you persuade others?
This is a really interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that jumps to my mind is that we were taught that persuasion and influence are not the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
That influence is rational and persuasion is emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And that's immediately something that always jumps to my mind, right? You can, persuasion is something that's driven through the emotional brain, through emotional response, whereas influence is something that's driven through the rational brain. So for example, if I'm a positive influence
Mm-hmm.
on a junior employee,
Mm-hmm.
then they adopt a rational, predictable behavior of being responsible and showing up on time and doing the right thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm influencing them,
Right.
influencing them to ask better questions, influencing them to think before they act, influencing them to make some sort of rational change.
Mm-hmm.
Persuasion is very different. Persuasion is emotional. You persuade someone to do something, and it's usually a short-term objective,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like when Alai persuaded me to spend more than $30 on Legos.
She also has this great persuasion face,
Yeah.
which I think is something where she like squishes her cheeks and like gives you a little pouty face, and
it's very sweet.
Yeah.
And it makes me, yeah.
it does. It works on you every time.
Because
somehow.
it reminds me of when she was like 6 days old and she was all bundled up and she just looks at you and it's just like, yeah, I might as well just write a new check. But that's persuasion, right?
Right.
Because persuasion is emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm taken back to her being 6 days old. I'm
Mm-hmm.
taken back to the feelings, the overflowing like joy and pride and relief of a new baby that's alive and healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's persuasion. Persuasion is emotional.
Mm-hmm.
When you, and I know that like luckily
Mm-hmm.
we were both kind of hussy-ish
Speak
we were
for
younger.
yourself.
But like oftentimes when we're trying to get someone to go to bed with us, we use persuasion, right? We try to trigger emotions, whether that emotion is like lust or guilt or obligation or whatever, right? We persuade, right?
Uh-huh.
You had to persuade me.
Oh, really? Well, I thought it was just natural attraction. I guess not.
You weren't wearing natural attraction that day. You chose what you were
That's
wearing.
fair. That's fair. My outfit was persuasion.